I've always been good friends with one of my cousins, who we'll call Cole, who's the same age as I am. The two of us were not quite inseparable, but we always did get along very well together and were often found together, both in school, as we'd always wound up in the same class together. When we were 12 and in the 6th grade, I was hanging out with Cole on a Friday afternoon, and at one point my mum called to say that our grandpa was in the hospital. While the issue with our grandpa wasn't expected to be life-threatening, he was being kept at the hospital overnight for observation. I was told that I was given the okay to stay at Cole's house for the night, with Cole's 15-year-old brother, who we'll call Hunter, being in charge while our parents were out. We ordered out for pizza and enjoyed goofing off as boys that age tend to do. At around 9 p.m. or so, there was a knock at the front door and Cole went to answer it. I was a bit curious as to who it could be at that time of the night, and so I watched from a ways back. At the door were two older guys. They said that they were with the city and that they were investigating reports about the water pressure supposedly being bad in the neighborhood. They asked Cole if his parents were home, and when Cole said they were unavailable at that moment, which we were told to say to strangers if our parents weren't home, the guys started asking a bunch of questions about how the water pressure was in the house and if they could come inside to check. Hunter came over at that point and politely told the guys that the water pressure was fine and perhaps they should move on to check on other homes in the neighborhood. The guys seemed reluctant to leave, but turned away and walked after Hunter started closing the door. After the door was shut, we looked at each other and shrugged, but didn't think too much of it after that and went back to goofing off. Eventually, we decided to go to bed. Cole and Hunter shared a bedroom, and we all agreed that I'd sleep in there with them, and Hunter grabbed a sleeping bag out of their camping supplies for me. When we got in the bedroom, they stripped down to their briefs. Since I hadn't originally planned on staying the night, I hadn't brought anything with me from home as far as overnight stuff, but since I wasn't in the mood to sleep in my clothes, I also stripped down to my briefs. Early the next morning, I got up because I had to pee. On the way back to the bedroom, I heard something in the family room, which was on the opposite end of the house. I didn't pay too much attention to it at the time, thinking it must be either Cole or Hunter, until I got back into the bedroom and I realized that both of them were still asleep in their beds. Trying not to panic, I woke them and told them that I thought someone was in the house. They quietly followed me, and the moment we walked into the family room, we saw the two guys from the night before in there, and it was rather clear that they were robbing the place. One of them started moving towards us as he pulled out a wicked-looking knife. The three of us promptly raced to the front door, and we fled outside. As luck would have it, a cop was driving by at that particular moment, and within a couple of minutes, several other cops were there as well, and they proceeded to enter the house, and after some searching, they caught the two guys. To add insult to injury, while we were standing outside while the cops searched the house, both to get the two guys and make sure there was no one else with them, some of the neighbors came out to see what the commotion was about, and this included some kids who went to the same school as Cole and myself, including a few who were in the 6th grade class with us. It was during that time that the three of us realized that we'd never had the chance to get dressed, so, just like in the stereotypical nightmare, we had to stand outside in full view of everyone in just our briefs for what seemed like forever, before being allowed back inside. When we went back to school on Monday, Cole and I had to put up with more than a bit of snickering, stares, and ribbing for the next few weeks until school ended for the summer. I don't know what sentence the guys got, but I hope I never run into them ever again.